Welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy that you have joined me this evening. It is 7 p.m. on the East Coast. I finally made 7 p.m. I have not been good making 7 p.m. recently, but this time, see, I did it. I finally got my act together and I was able to make 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Look at me go. I guess it's a win. I'm going to take it as one. So happy you're joining me this evening. We're going to be talking about something that I think is becoming, I guess, a bit more popular. The idea of men, young men particularly, kind of being in trouble, right? The idea of incels and things like that. Books on it recently. And I think one of the more popular things that's happened, for those of you who may not know, there's a very popular YouTuber, or I don't know, I'll call him YouTuber. I'm not sure if that's the right phrase to use. A very popular left-leaning YouTuber named Hasan Piker. He goes by Hasan Abi on YouTube. If you want to check out his stuff, feel free. Very popular. He's related to the guy who started the Young Turks. I think if I'm not mistaken, a nephew. Someone I'm sure will correct me if I'm incorrect, but I think he's a nephew. And he very often is aggressive against Jordan Peterson. Now, I almost never mention Jordan Peterson on my show. I'm not a fan or not a fan. I'm neither of those. I think he has some good things he says and some things he doesn't. I'm also not his audience. So his audience tends to be younger people, tends to be younger men. While I'm a man, I'm not that young. So I'm not really his audience. So I'm not supposed to be moved by Jordan Peterson. So it's okay if I'm not, I guess. But Jordan Peterson was recently on Piers Morgan's show, and they were talking about a movie to where someone basically based a character in the movie off of Jordan Peterson. This character was kind of like a crazy, kind of pseudo-scientific guy who was the king of incels. And in the movie, the character is not a great person in the movie. Supposedly, I haven't seen it yet. And now I'm going to watch it because of this. I will watch the movie now, but I haven't. But that isn't what this is about. It's about how Jordan Peterson reacts and how so many people reacted to him. As a general rule, the reaction that Hasan Piker had was very common for most people who would consider themselves or who would self-identify as left-leaning. Many of them had a similar response. And I think the response was wrong. I think it was a bad idea. And I'll explain why in a second. I'll show you a piece of it so you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think it matters. It makes the problems of our world worse, and it's almost like nobody even notices. If you think this is going to be good, and you know it's going to be good, then do me a favor, like, comment, share. If you are right now watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. But Larry, I don't want to subscribe. I don't care. Subscribe. If you go, you're not going to subscribe? Okay, great. You don't want to subscribe? You don't have to. You don't. Donate some money then. That's what you should do. Donate money. LarrySharpe.com/donate. Donate money, or you can always just subscribe. That's free. But Larry, I've already subscribed. Great. Then like and comment and share, and we're good. Larry, I've done all those things. Awesome. Then support my sponsors. It's free. Take that link, head over to theadvocates.org, take the world's smallest political quiz, or share this link in other places so that other people may take it. Why does this quiz matter? It matters because once people take it, they will start talking. We have to keep talking. I'm not joking. It's a great way. If you have some lefty or some righty who you're upset about, or someone who thinks a statist, or some crazy libertarian who's not real libertarian, you know those people, send them this quiz, have them take it, and say, what'd you get? Let's talk about it. I'm telling you, it's a good way of people to have conversations. Go ahead and do that. If you're saying, Larry, I like all those things, but I don't want something. I don't want to, pay something and get nothing back. It's okay. Go shop and you can have a cool hoodie like this one. Larry Sharpe, cool governor. You can get that too if you want to. It's all good. Do whatever you think is best. So let me chat, if I could, about this specific piece, right? Someone says, hold on. John says, any leftist I can tolerate, but not Sank's nephew. That's who I thought it was a nephew. Thank you, John. Yes, I thought it was. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did think it was nephew. Thank you for that. So I wasn't wrong. I had a feeling that was true. So great, awesome. So let me show you what I'm talking about and what actually happened, and so you can have a good idea, right, of what actually happened, and you can understand it. This is from Hasan Abi's YouTube page. And he is talking about the Jordan Peterson. So we're like reacting to a react.
Just quickly, the film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel.
See, pseudo-intellectual community.
Being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways.
See, he says, they're all these weirdo loner men who are despicable in so many ways. If you're an incel now, or you're someone who likes or uses Jordan Peterson as a mentor, does this open you up to conversation, or does this make you even worse?
Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure. Why not?
Own it.
People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is.
Now look at the teasing that he does for this. And this is the part that bothers me. Look, I get if you're on the left and you don't like Jordan Peterson. Okay, lots of people on the left don't like Jordan Peterson. I get it. But in this specific case, he's doing something that's nice. Whether you agree with Jordan Peterson or not, in this case, he's doing something nice. He's trying to support people who are in trouble. You should go, all right, this time's fine. But what I find so often, and this is from anyone who tends to be hardcore left or right, but more left than right without a question right now, is I have to make every single aspect of the person bad or evil. Nothing they do can be good. Nothing they do, they have to be evil in everything. And how do I experience that in my own world? If you ever see me, very often when I am talking to people who are more hardcore left, when I'm having those conversations and we agree on something, they won't acknowledge agreement. Whatever it is, they'll either just dismiss it, go by it, find another answer, but they won't go, yeah, you're right on that one. Now, some people will. Now, I'm going to give a couple people some credit. I did a show with Vosh. Vosh was open when we agreed. He's like, yep, I agree on that one. He didn't just try to make me a bad guy. I mean, his chat totally did, but he didn't. He actually, things disagreed. He said it where he thought I was wrong. We had a back and forth, but when we agreed, he actually said it. Yeah, we agree on this. I'm going to give him that. Well done. Look at the other people who are on the left who I talk to. Try to find when I was actually saying, don't we agree on this? Aren't we right on this? Aren't we together on this? No, would not acknowledge it. I had to be bad, or even if I was right, my intent had to be bad. You have to demonize the person. And again, I'm not saying you should love Jordan Peterson. I don't care if you love Jordan Peterson, to be forward with you. I mean, some of you I'm sure love him, but you gotta tease him like this. You gotta be mean like this on something that's as important as this is.
Thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
It's making you emotional.
Dog, he's eating too much liver, dog. That's what he's done, okay?
So this guy, Hasan, who literally gets tens of thousands of views on every single video he puts out, sometimes far more than that. But when he's failing, he's getting tens of thousands of views. Very influential, particularly with young men. That's kind of his thing. Young women love him too, but young people in general love this guy. And he is just teasing a man who is crying on TV. Why? Why would you be so cruel in that case?
Let me tell you something. That's not a normal way to talk about this sort of thing. There's something.
Look at this. Now he decides to attack all the incels by showing armed misogynists, toxic masculinity, mass shootings, right? More shootings, incels charged with shootings. Yes, Hasan, you are correct. I know you're not watching this. I wish you would watch my stuff, Hasan. It'd be awesome if you would. But you're right. This is what's happening. So your answer is make the angry people who murder our children angrier. This is your logic, and you say you're smart and logical and savvy, and your answer is let's make the people who are literally murdering our children, let's make those guys even more angry. In fact, let's make more of them. And when there is someone who wants to reach out to them, so maybe they won't murder our children, and I mean that literally, they are murdering our children, you decide to make fun of him and joke about it. When you're influential, but you're mad at him for being influential. whatever you might say about Jordan Peterson, he's not assisting in young men murdering our children. That is one thing he's not doing.
Severely wrong with his brain chemistry. It's just it. That's it. Like, that's crazy. Too much meat, man.
It's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are.
Yes.
And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's like, well, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women, like, be picky. That's your gift, man.
Now, listen to what he said, what Jordan Peterson just said there. He says these men don't know how to make themselves attractive. For those of you who don't know what an incel is, it means you are involuntarily celibate, meaning you would like to have a relationship. You would like to be having relations with women, but you can't because you're not good at it. You don't know how, whatever. You're failing at that. And his response is they don't know how, right? They can't do it. So they're unhappy. They're demoralized. Yeah. And by the way, the data is in. He's not making this up. There are more young men under 30 who are not having sex than ever. But there are still a decent amount of women. What does that mean? All the alpha males that he jokes about and teases about, they're all getting lots and lots of women. How's that going to make for healthy women? All chasing the same men. How's that going to work out well? How are you going to have good men who know they can just be an alpha male and get 25 women? How's that going to work out well? And what's going to happen for all the young men who aren't the alpha male? What are they going to do? But you know who else they're also going to go after? Guys like Andrew Tate. And for those of you who know who Andrew Tate is 50 times worse, 100 times worse, 500 times worse than Jordan Peterson. And the kids are running after this guy, Andrew Tate. If I had to pick someone to go after, do Jordan Peterson, right? Compared to Andrew Tate. But here's the bigger piece. The biggest piece of it all. It's what I've been talking about for 5 years. The biggest issue is there should not be a place so large for Andrew Tate or for Jordan Peterson. There shouldn't be a place so large in a society. Why? There's a lack of father figures in this society. That's a fact. There's a lack of positive male mentors in this society. That's a fact. And that makes you angry and you think I'm being gender biased or whatever. I don't really care. That's the reality. That doesn't mean we don't need female. We need female positive too. This is not exclusive. I think we need all of the people and adults to be positive role models. But the one we're lacking right now, clearly, is positive male role models. Clearly that's there, or there's no room for Jordan Peterson to have a spot at the table. There's no room for Andrew Tate to have a spot at the table. I hope people get what I'm saying here.
All these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that, Olivia Wilde, it stung you, didn't it? That's all the
reaction. By that time, that as far as
this is why Andrew Tate was so dangerous, dog. After a certain point, like when your brain is so fucking irreparably harmed by the benzo plus like all meat diet, even the
look at this. So what he says, this is why Andrew Tate was so dangerous. But you're hammering Jordan Peterson. And he says, because of the all meat diet and the benzos. 2 reasons why I'm bothered by that. Number one, I'm on keto. I've been on keto for 12 years. I'm 54 years old. I can still throw a strike, homeboy. When you're 54, if you can throw a strike, come talk to me. But you probably won't be able to. But I can still throw a strike at 54 years old. So my meat diet's doing just fine for me. Number one. Number two, why would you insult his diet yet again? What a low blow. How about why don't you be Mr. Hasan? Why don't you be a better positive role model for the people around you? And then you attack because he takes the benzos. He was an addict and he came clean. I know I had an addict in my life. And if you know what America is like, every single family in this country has an addict in their life. If they're not the person themselves who's the addict, there's someone in their life who's an addict. That's for sure. So now you tease them too? Constantly, the left talks about punching down. All the time. You, Hasan, are punching an addict and addicts and incels. You are punching down, brother. You are punching down. You are being a massive hypocrite, and you have lots more influence than I have. This is not the right answer.
Most diehard incels are gonna look at a dude who's like crumbling and crying and shit and go, yeah, that's too much for me, dog. I think that's like a little bit too much. You're like crying. That's weird. You know what I mean? Whereas like Andrew Tate at least is like, I'm a top G. I never cry. Crying is for pussies. You know?
So you're literally saying it's better for people to follow Andrew Tate, who is the equivalent of a monster, who, if I'm not mistaken, the Andrew Tate story, the guy who was like sex trafficking young girls in Eastern Europe, I think that's the same guy. I mean, at least allegedly, that's what I've heard. I don't remember Jordan Peterson doing any of that. Why don't you step up?
Oh, in a weird way, he's not toxic enough.
When Olivia Wilde made those comments, the first thing I did was go look at the preview for a movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably, and perhaps I will. It didn't really bother me. My
Bro, you're crying, dude. You are crying. What the fuck?
So he's showing empathy. Jordan Peterson wasn't crying because of the movie, Hasan. I know that's hard for you to get because you just want to make him bad. And this is the part, as you're watching, what a normal person should do is just watch the interview and see what they're thinking. But he can't do that. He has to make Jordan Peterson the bad guy at every moment. Now, you may not like Jordan Peterson. I don't know how you personally feel about him. And that's fine if you don't. No judgment on you, like who you want to like. My point is, in this case, it's not like Jordan Peterson right now is going, oh, I hate trans people or something. In which case, okay, I get it. Yell at them, call them names. I got it. That would be a good time to do so. This is not what he's doing. He's showing real empathy for people who are broken. But Hasan has to make sure that no one likes Jordan Peterson for any reason whatsoever. He has to make sure that everyone who is not his type of leftist, however he defines leftism, whoever is in his type of leftist is by default evil, irredeemable, as he's already said, irredeemable, has no good qualities whatsoever, inhuman. So he wants to dehumanize everybody who is not his type of leftist. This is not healthy for anyone.
Been so controlled today, and yet in that brief moment, you got very emotional. Why?
It's really something to see.
He's crying for the incels, man, the disenfranchised.
Constantly.
He's saying that ironically.
How many people are dying for lack of an encouraging word?
26 months later.
And how easy to.
Now, look what he just did. What he said, how many people are dying for lack of an encouraging word? You might not like Jordan Peterson at all. Okay. You might think he's a terrible transphobe. I know people do. Was what he said wrong at that moment? And I'm asking only for this interview that Hasan could have just ignored. And I'm picking on Hasan because he's very popular. But many people on the left took this interview and hammered Jordan Peterson. I picked this one because of the popularity of Hasan. That's why I picked this one. And because of how disrespectful he was. But many people on the left took this and attacked it and treated it this way. He said people are dying because of encouraging word. Because lack of encouraging word. The people in Buffalo, my state, that monster went out and murdered people in Buffalo. And it was because of a lack of an encouraging word. That's true. If somebody would have given that kid some purpose, he would not have gone out and sat in his room and become radicalized by anti-black racist propaganda so he can go out and shoot black people in Buffalo. That wouldn't have happened if he had an encouraging word. He's right. And what was the response from Hasan? A burp. That was the response. A burp. Yep. How about Uvalde? All those kids murdered. That guy would have had an encouraging word. Those kids would be alive right now. But what do I get? A burp. That's the response. Because Hasan's empathetic.
Is to provide that if you're careful. Give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
And to say,
damn, they're zooming on his face, dude. Nerds on the internet are the most oppressed, marginalized group, especially nerds on the internet that fucking turn around and say that like black people deserve less and they're getting.
So all he does is he finds people, young men who are broken, who go on the internet and say horrible things. So I would ask you, If you're listening to me, you're probably not one of those people, but you might be. If you are, please stay with me. If you are someone like that, please stay with me. I will happily be an outlet for you. So if you are, please stay. If you're not, and you're watching this, ask yourself, what would it take for you or someone you know or love to sit on the internet and just say racist stuff until you go shoot somebody? How bad would you have to feel? How broken would you have to be? How much damage mentally would you have to take before you be the person sitting online saying racist stuff and going out and murdering people? Yeah. So are they oppressed? Yeah. Are they broken? Yeah. Now he tries to go, well, they're the most oppressed. They're not the most oppressed in the world. Of course not. Nobody is saying that except him. Even Jordan Peterson isn't saying they're the most. What he's saying is he's doing his thing. This group of young men have come to him and he has embraced them. And what is his answer? They're all racist. Literally, look at it. I'm not making this up. His answer is, well, they're all racist. Like every single young man who's broken, who's lonely, who's hurting, they're all racist shooters. This is what Hasan is saying. Because again, he must make everyone who is not his type of leftist inhuman. He must dehumanize them completely, and they must have no redeemable qualities. Meanwhile, while he does that and make tons of money doing it, not that I'm against money, he claims to be a socialist. So I'm happy he makes his money, good on you. I'm just saying he claims to be a socialist. So he makes tons of money doing it and makes tons of money while our young children get murdered in school. That's him. That's this guy.
Too much of the podium and shit. Those are the people that are the most marginalized. Why are they marginalized?
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Because they can't even say their ideas openly. Their video games are being taken away from them, where the video games now feature.
They can't say their ideas openly. How did they get their ideas? Are you telling me someone's born racist? I hope you're not saying that, because that's obviously not true. Nobody's born racist. So if they are racist and they're evil and mean as you say they are, they sat online all day and became radicalized. If they had a mentor, they would not have done that. This is not rocket science, guys.
You're like black characters, you know what I mean? Female characters. Back in the day, video games were not political. Now they got political characters like that. It's really
So now he's making them not only racist, they're also misogynist. So every single person, every single young man who's hurting, he is now reinforcing all the negative stereotypes and ideas. And again, you may not watch Hasan. If you watch me, we're probably different audiences. So the odds are you don't watch Hasan. Millions do. That's why I picked him. But it isn't only him. I picked him. There are literally dozens of very influential people who are on the left who took this thing and went as far as he did or more. This is not helpful.
really fucked up. How can he have so much sympathy and empathy for like incel dudes, right? And talk about
How can you have so much sympathy and empathy for incel dudes? Because they're humans, Hasan. That's why. And they're obviously hurting. And they're broken. It doesn't mean you can't have empathy for other people. Of course you can. I have empathy for all of them. Of course you can. There's only certain ones you can take up a hold of. Only certain ones. You can't have empathy and try to fix everybody. I can't. I wish I could. Right? People ask me when it comes to charities, what do I focus on? What do I focus? I focus on veterans. Does that mean other people aren't worthy of charity? Of course they are. I can't do everybody. But because I'm a vet, I choose to focus on veterans. Does that mean I hate moms who are single moms? Of course not. My mother was a single mom. Of course not. I focus on the people who gravitate towards me and which I think I can do the best. I function well with vets. I connect well with vets. So I spend most of my charitable time with veterans. It doesn't mean I don't like others or don't care about others. Jordan Petersen clearly connects with incels. Let him. Let him.
about them as though they are like the most marginalized people on the planet. And there is a level of that.
They're not the most marginalized. Only you're saying it. But they are marginalized. So let him deal with it.
Especially because like a lot of these dudes are neurodivergent, right? Like there's a lot of incels that have like not the best mental health, all the shit, right? There are degrees of marginalization occurring with respect to these incels and shit like that too. But having said that, how do you have that level of fucking sympathy for those, right?
Look at what he just said. He's like, I kind of went too far. let me try to say some stuff. Oh, but I still have to make sure that they are inhuman, dehumanized, horrible people.
Which I have some level of sympathy as well, and I talk about it all the time. But then when it comes to like a trans person, you're like, no, what your doctors are doing are butchering you. Like, that's crazy. You are.
No, it's not crazy. That's what he thinks. So when he says anti-trans stuff, you can hammer him for anti-trans stuff. That's not a bad thing to go ahead, beat him up on anti-trans stuff. Okay, no worries. But why are you beating him up on this? Why isn't the video you're doing now on anti-trans stuff then if he's so anti-trans? I'm okay with that. Do what you need to do. This one? No, and this goes back to my point. He has to make sure that Peterson has no redeeming qualities. Everyone who is not his type of leftist must have no redeeming qualities. You can't talk to him. I spend so much time, you guys see me trying to talk to the left and the right and having conversations and trying to make people human. Oh my God, am I fighting a losing battle?
Overall such a horrifyingly awful human being when it comes to like other forms of marginalization. It's like impossible.
He called him a horrible human being. I wasn't making this up.
For me to take you seriously when you are talking about fucking incels and shit. People who are.
So when you're talking about incels, which he just said he had sympathy for, now says because you talk about incels and give incels any play whatsoever, I can't take you seriously. Even though you're a doctor, even though you physically help people, even though you write books, even though you save people's lives, I can't take you seriously. You talked about incels. Therefore, now every aspect of who you are and what you do is now invalid.
Asking like about the authenticity of this, right? I do think it's authentic. I think his tears are real. I don't think Jordan Peterson is like good enough of an actor to fake cry about shit. I think those tears are very much real. I do also believe that his brain is broken. I think that's the reason why he's like crying real tears when he thinks about like a white weirdo kid who
a white weirdo kid. I want you to think about that for a second. He said, how can you cry? This is what he said. I didn't say it. You heard him. How can you cry for a white weirdo kid? That makes me want to cry. That's most of the kids in America. That's most of the kids in America. How can you cry for them? Because you can cry for all the kids who are hurting. How about that? This is Mr. Empathy. That's what he says. Hasan says he cares. But he literally, his words, I didn't make it up. I need to think about it. How can you cry for white weirdo kids? This guy is super popular. Super popular. And that's what he just said. How cruel is this young man? If someone is broken, I would argue Hasan is the broken one. It's not Jordan Peterson. It's Hasan. In a different situation, if his uncle wasn't as powerful as his uncle is, this man right here might be an incel. That's how broken he is. If you want to find who's broken, Hasan, I would look in the mirror if I were you, my friend.
Like in these fucking forums, writing about like Pokemon's underwear or whatever is like the real victim of society. You know what I mean?
Because you write about people's underwear, right? Or Pokemon or whatever. So you like Pokemon. That does make you weird, kinda, yeah. But does that make you bad and worthy of scorn? Does that mean you should consider suicide? Or you should end your life? Or you should go out and shoot people in a school because you like whatever, someone's underwear or Pokemon? If that's your life, be nice if someone would like you too. I think even those people, even the white weirdo kids, deserve some respect.
Like those are the real victims. Jordan Peterson's like ideal world. Those are the only people that are victims. You know what I mean? Like Leafy is
he made that up. You made that up because you want to make Jordan Peterson a bad person. Because you must make everyone who at no point did Jordan Peterson or anybody that I know go, the only victims are white weirdo kids. No. Are they also hurting? Yes.
And shit. And I think that the reason why he feels that way is one, because he understands like where they're coming from, and two, because his brain is broken.
Do you believe?
Why'd you have to add the brain broken piece? He does know where they're coming from. He does. So let him do his work. I know where a lot of these veterans are coming from. That's why I do vet work. He knows where they're coming from. That's why he does incel work. What work are you doing, Hasan? What work are you doing besides dividing our country, poisoning our youth, and making sure we hate the other so that when things hit the fan, more people die? That's all you're doing. You're not doing the work at all.
You're a net force for good.
Net, yes. In all the details, probably not. You know,
He admits to
one's
not being perfect.
So
Agreed.
That's
Me
why he
neither.
said net.
people make their mistakes as they stumble uphill.
Jordan's been a
true.
fascinating interview.
Bro,
Thank
he
you.
is weeping. There's like snot coming out of his nose. This
'Cause
is
he
like,
cares?
how are you gonna tell me if he's like crying real tears or not? Also, it's infinitely funnier that he is crying real tears.
I want you to hear that, what he just said. It's infinitely funny that he is crying real tears. This is a very popular left-leaning YouTuber. I don't know if that's the right phrase. If I'm insulting you, I'm not trying to insult you. I think that's the right term for what you do. Or pundit, maybe is a better one. I don't know how you would title yourself, but whatever you would title yourself. This is a very popular person who says it's funnier because he's crying real tears. This man has glee in another person's pain. And he is saying that Jordan Peterson is a bad guy. Let me say it again. He is literally laughing and encouraging others to laugh at real tears. And he says that the other guy is the bad guy.
Can't be alone in this, I think. Like, I do. Here's what I think, okay? I
me.
think incels do deserve sympathy. Controversial take, I know.
Sympathy.
Everyone does. I try to.
No, not sympathy. Empathy. There's a difference. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for somebody. Empathy is when you try to get where they're going so you can help them.
Lead by empathy all the time, but there's a level to it. My empathy.
He just said, I lead with empathy all the time. In the past 6 minutes of this video, did you see any empathy? I saw literally zero. I'm not even joking. I saw sociopathic, sorry. I saw sociopathic behavior in this young man. I didn't see empathy. And for someone to say how empathetic is as he burped at the idea of incels and people dying, right? As he burped at that and then said, this man's real tears make it even funnier. That's not empathetic. And the fact that he would say that shows a complete lack of any self-awareness at all.
For you stops the moment that you start attacking other people, especially other people over their inalienable characteristics, especially attacking people over like.
Yeah, so here's his excuse. So now, once you say the thing that I don't like, now you deserve no empathy. So once you say the thing that I don't like, you're no longer human. You're no longer valuable. You can't be taken seriously anymore. You're now broken. You're now irredeemable.
Preconceived notions that you have about their about like whatever kind of weird stereotype you have of them in your head. And incels oftentimes are attacking a lot of other people, including
Yes, but then what is your option, my friend? Is your option just make them angrier, or is your option try to help them? I think trying to help them is the better option.
myself regularly. That's my take. That's why, you catch me in a good moment and some fucking weirdo is saying like the most unhinged shit in my chat. I'm still going to try to be like, listen, man, you can change, you can get better. I know that's going to fall on deaf ears because that person probably thinks, because of all of their preconditioning, that person probably thinks I'm being sarcastic when I say I do care about you. I do care about you. I hope you get better.
Yeah, I knew when I was teaching at Harvard and at the University of Toronto that some of the things I was teaching were revolutionary. I was surprised that I got away with it, let's say, as long as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a way in which it doesn't surprise me. And I wouldn't say that's because of the brilliance of my ideas. It's because...
Dude, he's so revolutionary. He was another conservative professor at Harvard, which of course, famously, there are none. I love that. I love the notion that like Harvard, an institution filled to the fucking very brim with like 75-year-old neck-bearded, weird, perverted, right?
He has no idea what he's talking about. Hasan has no idea. Wow. Okay, Hasan, not only are you wrong and basically sociopathic, you were also just full of shit. I have taught at Ivy League schools. At the graduate level. It's not full of 75-year-old neck-bearded conservative people. at all. Not even close. Not even close. He's just, hold on. He just made that up completely so that he can, again, just make everybody wrong. Just so he can make everybody wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. He just blew my brain. Like, I know this world. I have been in this world. It's, no. All right. Here is, hold on. Here is a quick chart of the, there we go. That's Harvard's political leanings. Very liberal, 30%. Liberal, 47.9%. Moderate, 19%. Conservative, 2.5%. Very conservative, 0.4%. Because you know what we think of? We think of colleges? Conservatives. College is full of conservatives. Nothing but conservatives all over the place. In colleges, I can't believe he even said that. That is, wow. That guy's so super popular too. That's what blows my mind. He is super popular. And that's what we're dealing with. So why did I punish you all with that? Because it matters. Because it does matter. And I'm going to cover your chat right now, but it does matter. Because there is a chunk of people who just want everyone, they're helping to make the left-right paradigm even stronger. They're helping to dehumanize everyone around us to make this happen. It's a problem. If you like what I'm doing, and I'm about to keep going, like, comment, and share. It does matter. Click the like. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, what is wrong with you? Do you have a mental disorder? Click that subscribe button now. I need all the help I can get. And of course, like and comment and share. If you want to support the channel, please support the world's smallest political quiz. That link is right there. The link also is in the chat. Or you can just go to theadvocates.org. Theadvocates.org, they are my sponsor. So please go there, take the world's smallest political quiz. And if you can, share your results with others so that others will see it, they will take it, and you can start real conversations. I don't care if that person happens to be an incel or a lefty or a righty. I don't care. But you have a conversation with them, and we can win. If you want to support me running around New York State, LarrySharpe.com/donate. 35 days to the election. Everything will help. Everything you possibly can do. And of course, if you want to pick up some merch, LarrySharpe.com/shop. You can pick up a sign, a shirt, a cool mug, whatever you like. They're all there. Please enjoy. So let me grab some of your chat if I can. You guys put up, wow, you guys really got this. Wow, so much chat. Okay, I will try to grab it. I was so busy doing this, I was not paying attention. I should have spent a bit more time doing that. Yes. All right. Bill says, restore ballot access, New York State, write in Larry Sharpe. Yes. Write in Larry Sharpe. Please put it everywhere. I agree. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Scott says, if they're reluctant to subscribe, they can subscribe and not follow you. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. But please follow me anyway. But correct. Yes, absolutely. 100%. John says, men's rights activism shouldn't be a left or right paradigm issue. John, you are 100% correct. And you will find me very often trying to support men in family law, family court, in young men trying to get out of high school into college or into a job. You've seen me try to change my K through 12 to K through 10 plan, all those things. Absolutely. So yes, I'm trying very hard. So John says, New York and make it so we can all stay in our home state. Larry Sharpe, is that someone? Oh, okay. Yes. That was something you did before. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really do. Yes. Thank you. Mitch says, Hasan is just a cyberbullying riding on his uncle's coattails. Well, it does seem that way, Mitch, right? It does seem that way, right? I mean, he's just being mean and nasty. And there was nothing, he had nothing to say except, Jordan Peterson's bad. He's bad. These guys are bad. They're mean. He just wanted to make the person feel terrible. Yeah, just terrible. So Joe says, on AFS, that's a free solution, my radio show. You talk about the criminal system. I posted this quote from the New York controller, including additional costs outside the DOC budget, such as an employee fringe benefits and healthcare expenses of the incarcerated population. The full cost of incarcerating one person for the year was $556,539 in fiscal year 2021. Wow. Well, Joe, that's actually apropos. Why? Because you know what jail and prison is full of? I mean, full to the rim of fatherless men. Yes. Ask any corrections officer, any parole officer. Ask any of them. Is it true that the vast majority of all the people who are incarcerated are fatherless men? Every one of them will go, yep. Yep. Absolutely. Everyone will say that. Thank you. So we're spending all this money because these people have no mentors. And if Jordan Peterson can be a mentor for some of them, Hasan Piker is attacking that. What a terrible idea that is. Leave him alone. Yes. Dave says, translation, Larry Sharpe is right, but he's wrong because he's doing it the wrong way. Dave, you are correct. Thank you for that. Yes. Trevor says, Hasan Piker is dirt. Well, I don't know Hasan personally at all. So there's no relationship between him and I. I don't think he watches my stuff. If Hasan, if you happen to be watching, awesome. I hope you are watching, but I doubt he's watching any of my stuff. I hope he does, obviously. But no, he doesn't look like a good person, right? And maybe he is, and maybe this is some kind of, I don't know. Could it be some kind of act he has? Maybe, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's a self-righteous jerk. That's what it looks like to me. I'm happy to be proven wrong if I am, and if I'm proven wrong, I will publicly apologize. But it looks to me like he's just an uncaring jerk. Alex says, Jordan Peterson has experienced pain, and so he can be empathetic towards people in pain. Yes. Oh, Alex, well done. Yes, right? Some people who experience pain become very bitter, and then they're almost incapable of feeling for someone else because they don't want to bring that pain back to them. So they become super bitter and super aggressive. Some people become that. But others, Jordan Peterson, and I would say myself too, right? I've been through some terrible things too. I think many of us have. That's the right answer, Alex. When you've been through the pain, you need to be empathetic towards others who've been through it too. She continues, or he, Alex, I'm not sure if that's male or female. They continue. The left calls itself tolerant, but only to use as a tool to try to gain the moral high ground. Yes. It's fake. There's no real desire to understand or communicate. The right does this also, but at least they don't pretend to be compassionate. It's funny when you say that. I feel when this type of stuff comes up, you can find cruel people from the right also. Absolutely, you can. However, I think your point's a valid one. Most of the people on the right who are cruel, they're openly, honestly cruel, right? If you find someone on the right who's just a jerk, they're like, to hell with these people. They become that jerk. I think you're right. The left doesn't do that. The left is like, well, no, I care, and that's why. Good point. I think it's valid. I think it's valid. So yes. John says, lots of commies out there. Senk's nephew is a shining prince of them. Yes, it's true. Absolutely. Phil says, I just finished watching the whole interview with Peterson and Morgan. It was an interesting conversation. Strange how someone who's willing to reach out to young people and shows compassion gets ripped by the epitome of who wants to help. Of who he wants to help. Oh, I see. Yeah. No, good point. So you're saying that someone like Hasan is actually someone he'd want to help. Phil, valid point. I think Hasan is someone he would want to help. You're right. And that's the person who's beating him up. Good point. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lyndon says, isn't the left the ones who want men to show emotion? Yes. The left is becoming the biggest source of toxic masculinity. But then this is my point, right? My point is, the left wants men to show emotion as long as you're a left-leaning man. But if you are a right-leaning man, and right to be fair to Hasan, many people who are on the far left don't think the average left person is left enough. They share kind of this piece with libertarians who often go, you're not libertarian, not real libertarian. Some people on the far left have the same thing. They go, no, those aren't leftists. Those are Democrats. And they really believe you've got to be as far left as they are, or you're not a real leftist. So some of them do believe that. And if they believe that, then you've got to be their type of leftist, or you're not good enough. So yes, I think they'll go so aggressive, you've got to be exactly like them. If you're not, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter, Lyndon. So yeah, absolutely. Kevin says, critics like Hasan's need to be pathological and ideologically possessed. Yes. Oh, I love that phrase, ideologically possessed. Thank you, Kevin. As if they're trying to act out the horde mentality. In their worldview, they seem to objectify individuals and assume the individual is to act as instruments of power on behalf of their group identity. Huh. Okay. Instead of as beacons of truth who try to speak truth to bring order to the world. Getting deep on me, Kevin. And Hasan is essentially just acting out the spirit of narcissism and pessimism by acting out the role of the accuser. Oh, when you are the accuser, Kevin, and I think you've hit a valid point here. When you act as the accuser, you have the validity to be a jerk, right? Because I'm going after the bad guy. I'm hurting the evil person. Therefore, I can be the idiot that I want to be. I can be terrible because, see, I'm getting the bad guys. That's the thing. Yes. Mitch says there's a lack of father figures in our society. Yes. See, Mitch, you get it. Absolutely. Phil goes on, young men are failing because they don't know how to be men in a society that gives them so many different views on how they should act, all of which run contrary to their instinct. Wow, Phil, that's very insightful. I agree. Right? How is a young male boy, even boy or even young man, supposed to act? Right? They're told that, well, you've got to be strong, but don't be too strong. But you've got to be masculine, but not too masculine. But then be feminine, but then be masculine. You're right. Many of them, it's all different. And very few people are saying, hey, man, do you, right? Be you. Be as masculine as you naturally are. Be as feminine as you naturally are. Just do you, right? Be you. I think that's the part that we're missing more than anything else. And if we understand the be you piece and then show them via example, good men, good male role models, father figures, I would even use that as Mitch says, then I think most young men will pick the ones that they gravitate towards more. And in this case, many incels are gravitating towards Jordan Peterson. That's fine. Please do that. Pick a mentor. I don't care which one, as long as he's not murdering people. But when they don't have mentors, one more time, to be clear, when young men don't have mentors, they will be self-destructive. And their self-destructiveness will affect others. Every single one of these mass shooters is some male who is being self-destructive and punishing others. If we don't fix this problem, they are literally murdering our children. I have to say this again because some of you might think I'm joking. Or if you're Hasan, you'll burp at it or laugh at it because you don't care about that. I do. They are literally murdering our children. I would like them to not do that. So let's give them some father figures. Let's do that. Absolutely. Lyndon says, very few people know what healthy role models actually look like. You have hit it on the head, Lyndon, right? This is kind of what Phil's saying, right? It's similar, right? How do you know? And I got to tell you, I didn't know either. And I'll give you some of you know my story, but I'll do real fast. How and why I joined the Marine Corps. My father died when I was 12. I was a kid when he died. And it was obviously devastating. I had very few positive male role models in my life. I was lost, as many kids who don't have fathers were lost. But the one thing that gave me some hope was my father was in the Army. So I was going to go join the Army, right? Because my father was in the Army. You guys know I didn't. I joined the Marine Corps. But that's fine. I was going to join the Army. That was my plan. So I go down to join the Army. And the recruiter in the Army was like, we're going to make you a general in a week. We're going to, give you everything. It's going to be awesome. And I thought, wow, this is great. And I'm walking out and I got the book covers with Go Army. I'm still in high school. I'm 17. As I'm walking out, oh, it's great. It's like 1985, right? And I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out, the Marine Corps recruiter's right there. Tight uniform, big muscles, stand like this. Says, hey, son, got a minute? I'm like, yeah. Called me son. It's exactly what I wanted to hear. Like, I look back at that like, God, did he read me? But then I thought, I'm smarter than you, Mr. Marine guy. You'll never get me. I was completely wrong. So I go inside, and he says, that Army guy, he offered you a lot, right? I said, yeah, I'm going to be having beautiful women and a PhD in a week and whatever he promised me. He promised me everything. And he goes, oh, great. You know what we call that in the Marine Corps? He goes, we call that the solar plan. Everything under the sun. He goes, you know what I'm going to promise you? I said, what? He said, 4 hard years. You ready? I said, yes. And I signed up. Ready to go. Done. Now, I look back now at that, right? From the time. I look back now. And it's obvious, to your point, Lyndon, I didn't know what a positive male role model was. But when some Marine said to me, some older male looked me in the eye and said, are you ready to be a man or not? I was like, yes. Please show me. Oh, my God, yes. Please show me what it is to be a man. Yes, I'm in. 100%. I would have done anything. I didn't know that then, right? I can look back now, but I would have done anything. I just wanted to have positive male role model say to me, well done. Well done. Get up and do something. Be a man, do something. And when you're done, good job. And if you're wrong, no, you screwed it up. Fix it. Make it right. You made it right. Well done. That's all I wanted. And boy, did I get it in the Marine Corps. Totally got it. I will say all the time, the military is not for everybody, but it was totally right for me. That's what I will say. It was totally right for me. Scott says, people take, am I going to say it right? Benzoidazepines. Did I say it right? Because they're magnesium deficient. Oh, I didn't know that, Scott. Both of those help GABA to interact with this receptor. I don't know what that is. GABA. You have to help me on that one. I'm not sure what that is, Scott, but thank you for that. Mitch says, hitting low is the only way Hasan knows how to hit. Well, too many of them. Yes, it's a bad thing. I agree. Yes. John goes on to say, male suicide occurs more frequently. The desire for more positive male roles must be addressed. 100%. Yes, absolutely. All right. Joseph says, as a libertarian, how do you fix this problem? With influence and digital media attracting young men without censorship, do you remember when we used to censor movies based on ratings? Yes. I think how you do this is schools, right? Schools are the key piece to this, right? And if you notice when I talk about my school system, it's a K through 10 model that starts having people make decisions at 16 years old and deciding whether you want to go to a trade school, to a specialty school, to college, to a prep school, wherever you want to go, or go get a job if you want to, right? It starts by making young boys make real decisions earlier. You might go, Larry, that's dangerous. It's not. It's not, right? It isn't. What's dangerous is making them wait till 26. That's dangerous because then the price for failure is very high. So the number one thing you do is you actually change education. You stop making young boys sit in classrooms, wasting their time for 12 years. They just waste time for 10 instead, and then get out and go do something, right? People don't gain self-esteem because someone tells you you're great. People gain self-esteem because you did something, and then people recognize that you're great. Whatever that thing is, doesn't matter. Did you finish this, complete this, do that? Someone who you respect says, well done. Now, if the person, if you don't respect the person, it doesn't matter, right? You have to respect the person. If you respect someone and that person says, well done, you go, wow, I am good. I can do this stuff. That's how you create healthy people with good self-esteem. We don't do that at all. At all. We give people trophies for nothing. We just tell them to pass tests. We grade them in stuff that doesn't matter. We make them stay in school till they're 25 years old and learning useless things that have no value. We don't give them a work ethic. We do none of these things. We don't hold them accountable for anything. So all of these things together is how we begin to change how things work. We need to create more entrepreneurs, more gig workers, more of those things, 100%. We've got to move into a post-industrialized world, which we are not doing. So I hope that was an answer. So yes. Scott says he hasn't said any encouraging words. Yes. Kevin says belching over his heartfelt comment just to show his contempt and disgust towards. Yes. Kevin, thank you. That burp bothered me. It did, and maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I was supposed to get triggered. And Hasan, if you're watching and you were trying to trigger me, well done. I was triggered. It worked. So if that was your goal, yeah, you got it. I got triggered. Absolutely. Patty says, when people show real emotion, it scares them. Ooh, Patty. That's very insightful. I think you're right. So they have to make fun of it. A wimping man for crying, an angry woman for showing outrage. Look at these silly humans for showing real emotion. Dehumanize emotions. Yes. Desensitize us to the truth. Wow. My chat is brilliant. You guys are really smart. You make this show. Thank you, Patty. That's very good. When people show real emotion, it scares them. So they have to make fun of it. A wimpy man for crying, an angry woman for shouting outrage. Look at these silly humans showing real emotion. Dehumanize emotion. Desensitize us to the truth. Well done, Patty. Well done. Right in the money. Right on the money. Yes. Phil says, leftists like this are essentially a nihilistic death cult. Or nihilistic death cultists. They want nothing but to sit back and burn the world down at the expense of others. You know, there was a time when I would have fought you back on this, Phil. But the more I see it, the more I'm moving to, I'm just not ready to fight you on it, if that makes any sense. But if this was last year, I'd have been going back and forth with you on this one. But as I deal with it consistently, right? As many of you who've watched my stuff, I have gone out of my way to try to talk to the left, and they have beat me up like there's no tomorrow. I have not been mean to them, even when I could have been. I've taken it on the chin more than once. I've got my butt kicked and just not fought back many times, trying to get some empathy out of them, trying to see if they come back on the show and talk to them again. Oh my God, is it not working? They want blood sport and only blood sport. So I'm not sure if you're right, Phil, but I am moving towards you. So yes, Red Vapes and Vapor claims socialism while making money and supporting a capitalist company. Yes. Yes. And again, I don't mind. Make money. I hope you all make tons of money. I agree. Please make lots of money. Money's great. I'm not against money at all. Please make lots of it. And when you're done, donate half of that to me. I would like that too. Please, I hope you all make tons of money and donate a bunch to me. That'd be nice. I hope so. But he's out there saying how it's all bad and profit's bad, profit's bad. Meanwhile, he makes all the profit he can and buys a bunch of stuff and says he wants socialism for all. If you listen to me talk about Medicare for all of that stuff, that guy goes to private doctors. He wants Medicare for all for you, not for him. It's not Medicare for all. It's Medicare for them. That's what he wants. Medicare for you all, not for me. That's how he thinks. He's not giving up his doctor. Neither are any of these guys who are on either TV or radio or internet, web, whatever. None of them are giving up their private doctors. They just want you to have the bad doctors. So that's how I completely agree. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. See if I grab a couple more of these. Anonymous, nice. Eat meat and be whole. I eat lots of meat. So yes. So Joel says, incel, involuntarily celibate. Is this a crime? No, it's not a crime, Joel, but the problem is it's involuntarily celibate. And that's the hard part, right? If you are saying in your own world, for whatever reason, you don't want to have a relationship, that's on you. If you're choosing that that's the right thing for you now, or even forever, if you don't ever want to have a relationship. I mean, as I always say, you do you. But many people, depending upon the time in their life, are thinking, you know what? Now's not time for me to have a relationship. Whatever that is, whatever happened in your life, you decided, I don't want this. Okay, that's you. I hope you've chosen the right thing for yourself. That's different. That's voluntarily celibate, and it may be good for you. But involuntary celibate is not good for anybody. If you want a relationship and you feel like there's no chance of having it, that's horrible. I would like no one to feel that, right? That's where my head goes. We should feel this is a bad thing. Like, if you want to have a relationship, you should have a chance at having one. Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't just automatically have one, obviously, right? We don't want to do that kind of stuff. But there should be a realistic hope that if you want a relationship, you can have one. And I think that's the problem. So it's not a crime. It's just not good for us. It's not good for us as humans, right? That shouldn't be a thing. Hasan's a horrible person, total hypocrite. Boy, does it sound that way to me. Red, I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you. Yes. Mitch says, as someone who has major depressive disorder, I hate the term neurodivergent. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's funny. I know the term. It doesn't bother me at all. If someone would rather be called a certain term, whatever, I'm fine. For those who don't know, neurodivergent is kind of a catch-all term for people who have different disorders, right? To include if you're on an autism spectrum, ADHD, those types of things, right? It's kind of a catch-all, if that makes any sense, term that many people like to use. I don't really mind, to tell you the truth. But again, look, if you don't want to be called that, I will not call you that. So absolutely, whatever the case may be. All right. Lyndon says, Hasan here is really helping advance meaningful dialogue and in no way making things worse. I don't hear any sarcasm in that, Lyndon. Treating people like crap always makes things better. Broken people can just go, oh, I should just stop being broken. Get this man a Nobel Prize. Lyndon, well done. That's a very good one. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Thomas says, anyone who thinks a DNC or RNC candidate being elected is winning ignores that the DS RNC served the elite at our expense. Agreed. It's like both parties rape us, ouch. But my party gives me candy, so I'm winning. Wow. So your party gives you candy afterwards. Wow. Voters aren't the main beneficiary of legislation passed in the last 40 years. Yes, yes, and yes. Kevin says, Hasan seems incapable of empathy. It does look that way, doesn't it? Yeah. Greg goes on, people who are unable to empathize are usually unable to do so because in order to recognize emotions of the person, to be able to recognize and face them within themselves. Ooh, very good. And I think this goes, I think this goes kind of back to what Patty was saying, right? If I have to recognize this, Greg, then I have to recognize that I'm also imperfect, that I'm also emotional, that I can also get, attacked and be hurt, right? Emotionally, I mean, right? I can be emotionally hurt. I can be weak. And you're right. A lot of people, again, to Patty's point, says, I'm afraid of that. I don't want to show someone that I cry, that I'm hurt, that I'm human, that I can be weak. But we all can. And any of you who have been in any kind of tight relationship with somebody, you've been hurt. You're just human. And someone who's close to you, whether that's your mom, your sister, your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever, whoever it might be, your business partner, your bestie from high school, whoever that person is, if they know you well, they know how to hurt you. And they probably did. We're all human, brother. Greg, that's very good. I like that. Thank you for that one. That's good. Craig says, white weirdo kid here. There's a lot of white weirdo kids. Tons of them. They're all over the country. Yeah. And they deserve as much empathy as every other American. They all deserve empathy. And if you connect with one of them more than the other, you should probably go connect with those you connect with the most. I was talking about this and someone brought up the prison system earlier with the number of how much money we spend, $500,000 per person on a prison system. I talk about community rehabilitation units, CRUs, crews. The community rehabilitation unit idea is the idea that when someone is in a certain population, whether that population is veterans or single moms or opioid addicts or whatever the case may be, right? Someone who's neurodivergent. I just made somebody angry. Yes, but whatever the case may be, someone who is whatever the thing is, whatever community is, you would put them aside in almost like a halfway house. If you think the right kind of people can get out, you allow corrections officers to be involved in the selection of people because they deal with these people every day. They know the ones who are the more likely to be able to, get back in action. You put them into a specific unit and you bring in people who have been successful, who are from that community. So say veterans who have been in jail and have, gotten out and got jobs, single moms who've gotten through that and now are back, and have jobs and or have relationships and or have success, whatever the case may be. And they come back and they work together. Because very often, the person who understands your problem most is the person who's had that problem. And usually, that's the person you listen to, right? So if I come in and start telling single moms how to act, they might listen to me, but they're probably listen to someone who's been a single mom before a whole lot more than listen to me. I'm going to have to fight a whole lot harder to get their attention with someone who's been there, right there. One of the reasons why I deal with vets. I'm a veteran. It's easier. They're more likely to hear me than someone who's not. So whatever works, that's the answer. So there we go. All right, let me keep going here. Joe says, hey, just so you know, Larry, Pokemon is a YouTuber with millions of followers. Oh, just thank you. I did not know that. Thank you. Okay, see that? I don't know all these things. There we go. Hey, just so you know, Larry, Pokemon is a YouTuber with millions of followers. I believe that's what he's talking about. And you guys are smart. You know this stuff. I didn't even know that. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Hope that was helpful. Okay. Kevin says, your brain is broken. It's like saying you're incapable of speaking any truth. Ooh, Kevin, yes. That's right. That's my point. The goal is to dehumanize, invalidate people immediately. Just invalidate them immediately. Yes. 100%. Yes. Sanguine says, oh, bread tuber. Oh, is that the term? Thank you. Yes, bread tuber. That's right. Bread because of the socialist. Thank you. He's not a YouTuber. He's a bread tuber. Let me make sure I give him what he wants. Yes. So, Brett says, welcome home, my brother in arms, Larry Sharpe. I wasn't a Marine. I'm an Army veteran. All the same, brother. Love you as much. Absolutely. Anthony says, yep, dude's a sociopath. See, that was the energy I got from him too, Anthony. So it wasn't just me, right? I got the same energy from him. He was talking about empathy, but laughing at it. I felt the same energy. You did too. Okay, it isn't just me. Yes. Greg says, sympathy is when you see someone in a hole and say, I'm sorry. Empathy is when you crawl down to the hole and experience it with them. Oh, Greg, you are killing it tonight. I am so glad you were on. Thank you. Yes. By the way, I'm going to steal that from you and give you no credit whatsoever. So at least when you hear it, you will know I have stolen it from you. But I'm not going to give you any credit. Sympathy is when you see someone in a hole and say, I'm sorry. Empathy is when you crawl down the hole and experience it with them. And it's not because I don't want to give you credit. I'm just going to forget where I heard it from. I'm just going to use it and be like, some guy said. So you'll be the some guy when you hear it. It's very good. I like that one. Yes. The hero says, hero 92, 69.4 says he is generally a person who is sociopathic and full of crap. Well, that's the worst type of sociopath, isn't it? One that is full of crap. Yes, absolutely. Lyndon, preconditioning, racist, privileged, marginalized, and free-spaced. Just won the leftist horseshit talking point bingo. Look at that. I wasn't playing, Lyndon. I should have been playing. I might have won too. Yes, I love that. That's good. Nicely done. All right. Alex says, strong male role models are intensely suppressed. I agree with you. I wish you were wrong. I wish you were wrong, but you are 100% correct. The demographic most likely to organize and affect real change in society is males 1835. Yep. So the goal is to make that group as soft as possible. It's working. It's working. No strong leaders, no strong intellectuals. All men are toxic. All male behavior is toxic. This is why so many male role models are demonized at every opportunity. But here's the problem, right? I get if someone is trying to achieve that, right? I do. But here's the problem. Who is going to save us from the bad guys? When there's no men to do so. Well, women can. I don't mean to be sexist at all when I say this. But when nasty, horrible violence comes, young men are the best at both dishing it out and defending you from it. That's a fact of life. Young men are the best at both dishing it out and defending you from it. You cannot find a better population to do either of those things. What I would like is a whole lot more on my side to defend versus too many on the other side dishing it out. And Alex, if all of a sudden we're stuck with a bunch of incels, they're going to be open, right? When I see the insane amount of people who are self-identifying as incels or who are falling into that world of despair and pain, that's a recruitment ground for bad people to do bad things. What's that old saying? If you don't stand, I'm going to say it wrong. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Did I get that right? I think that's the right saying. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's accurate. If these kids are lost, some guy's going to come up and go, hey, what if we start murdering people? And he'll be like, are you an older man who will tell me I'm good? Yes, I will. If you just go murder the people I tell you to murder, they'll go, okay, let's go murder those people. And you might laugh at the guy being silly. I'm not. They're already doing it on their own. They're literally, again, one more time, they're going into schools and murdering our children already. So now some guy says, murder people that I tell you to murder, and I'll pat you on the head and say, well done. They will do it in droves. So you can laugh at them all you want, but then there's an army of them ready to kill people that bad guy number one says are the evil people. Whoever those are, you would hope you're not on that evil person's list. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Bob says, why do the people benefiting most from capitalism complain about it the most? Yes. That Hasan guy's a joke. This is the funny thing I understand. What I like, right, about this is, can socialism work? Yes, if you add capitalism. That's just true. If you add capitalism, socialism works, of course. But it only works when you add capitalism. By itself, it doesn't work. And socialists just don't want to hear that, right? What you'll hear often is, this is a common thing. Well, Larry, socialism hasn't worked because every time there's socialist countries, America, embargoes them. So America doesn't allow capitalism there. But I thought socialism is the answer. Yeah, it is a joke. 100%. Yes. So, Larry, you need to understand that anyone to the right of Karl Marx is conservative. Dave, very good. Again, as I said to Alex, I wish you were wrong, but you are right. That's correct. If you are not 100% in that place, you're basically Mike Pence, right? That's who you are, right? You're Karl Marx or you're Mike Pence. That's it. You're conservative, 100%. Yes, absolutely. So, the Dark Lord says, "Phew! I'm glad you're here. I always get notifications on Facebook, but what a limited streaming platform it is." Yes, guys, remember something. Please subscribe. Click that bell so that whenever I'm going live, you can see it. Absolutely. Yes. Albert says, hold on. More and more people without mercy. Yeah. Mercy. I like that. Yes. But understand this, he quotes, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient, of their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving, good, treacherous, reckless, sold with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. Who said that, Albert? Where's that from? Nicely said, though. Thank you for that. All right, let's see here. Shelly says, kids get 28K and the inmates get 556K. All that throwing money around doesn't seem to have much impact. Yes, that's right. Yeah, wow. Shelly, also well done. She means that per year, right? It's actually now 29K, Shelly. I think it's 29 now. $29,000 per kid per year in New York State when it comes to education. And then they go to jail and we drop $556,000 per kid. Fatherless male. Yes, absolutely. Melissa says, yes, it's true. The vast majority of inmates are from fatherless homes. Yes, absolutely. The majority of incarcerated individuals have limited to no meaningful family support and or connection. You know, I look at this, Melissa, and I look at my own mother. For those of you who don't know, my mother was an addict and also a felon. And once she got out of prison, I pulled out of prison, and I was there for her, if that makes any sense. Right? I was the family support that someone has to have. And I can only imagine that if I wasn't there, if my mom could have made it, right? I happened to be out and there for her. I took all my savings and used it to get her up and running because I love my mother, obviously, as people love their mothers. And it was only me and her. My father already passed. I'm an only child. So it's just me and her. And when she came out, and the hardest part for me, and if you've had an addict in your life, you'll understand this. This goes back to the empathy piece. You guys are killing it tonight. Thank you so much for being part of this. The idea of you understanding pain and then having empathy. It's why I have such a soft spot for people who have addicts in their life. Because if you have an addict in your life, or you were the addict, either one or still are, whatever the case may be, they just go away sometimes. Like you don't know where they are. I basically lost my mother for about 2 years. Just gone. Year and a half, maybe, in that area. And when I got her back was when she was in trouble. And a lot of people wouldn't go back to that person. And you know what I mean, Melissa? They would just go, well, she got rid of me, so I'm getting rid of her. And a lot of people feel like that pain. And again, if you've had an addict in your life, the addict will always choose the substance over you because they're an addict. That's what they do. It isn't personal. But man, does it hurt. And it feels personal, right? Of course it does, right? How does it feel when your mother abandons you for a substance? That hurts, right? And if you had an addict in your life, whether it's your son or your friend or your mom or your cousin or your spouse, whoever it was, they abandoned you for the substance. Man, does that hurt. Hurt me too. But in the end, I had to come back to her because I felt like, to your point, I don't know, look, I wasn't that savvy. I was like 21 or 22. I was still a youngster at the time. But I just felt that if not me, then no one is what I felt. So I knew it had to be me. So I did everything I could to get her back up in business. And I think that connection, that support that you said, right? You're totally right. There was a connection and support. I think that's what made her stay clean for the rest of her life and get her out together and start a business and get her life back together, get married. She ended up with a very good life. And anyway, thank you for that. I think that's you're right in the money. Yes, absolutely. Brian says, tomorrow is the most important thing in life. it hopes that we've learned something from yesterday. John Wayne. Wow. No, John Wayne said some cool stuff, Brian. I like that. That's good. Kevin says, I suspect that JP, Jordan Peterson, is one of the most profound Christian evangelists of the era. Is he a Christian evangelist? I don't know him that well. Before, I'm not a massive fan. I have nothing against the man at all. I don't know him that well. Again, I'm not his audience. So obviously that's why. So, maybe. Look, if that's what moves you, if that's what makes you a better person. I remember, if any of you seen the movie, was it Boys in the Hood? No, it wasn't that. Menace to Society. Sorry, Menace to Society. That's what it was. Yes, the 90s. There's a part where there's a Muslim kid who's talking about Islam all the time, but his father is not Muslim. His father is Christian. And the boys go to his father and go, man, are you tired of him talking about all this Islam stuff, blah, blah, blah? This is before 9/11, so Islam was still kind of like, okay, I guess. But yeah, but that's what it was. And it was a 90s movie. And his father says, I don't care. He goes, whatever will make him a better man. If Jesus makes him a better man, good. I agree with that. If Christianity makes you a better person, good, jump on it. Whatever makes you a better person, I'm in. That's the right religion for you, in my opinion. So, yes, absolutely. So, all right. JGJ says, Dr. JBP is passionate about certain statements. It comes through his tears. That's true. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Red Babe says, if Cenk Uygur, it's Cenk, right? Cenk Uygur is Hasan's uncle. I no longer wonder why he's so clueless. Uygur said he could beat up Rogan. Oh, I remember that. That's right. He was going to go beat up Rogan. He wasn't going to beat up Rogan. If you guys don't know Joe Rogan literally knows MMA. You know, he's an MMA fighter. I've met Joe Rogan. He's not my friend. I'm not trying to, act like he's my buddy. I wish he was my buddy. That'd be awesome. He's not. But I've physically met Joe Rogan. He is not a small man. That's what I will say. He's not a small man. Uyghur's going to get his butt kicked. So that's not going to happen. So yes. But if he tried and failed, as he would, Cenk would sue Joe Rogan. Yes, I think you're right. He would. Absolutely. Shelly says, my most left child was driving as I noticed that there was a school for the deaf and blind, which was why they all had AIDS. She slams on the brakes and asks, how would I know that people have AIDS? Very good. Good joke. That's very good. Absolutely. That's very good. All right. All right. Scott says it's pronounced benzodiazepines. Thank you. Benzodiazepines. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Good. There we go. Patty goes on, we have become less and less family-centric. Also true. If you notice, Patty, so many of my policies try to encourage people to stay together as families, from farms to small businesses, to taxes, to people retiring together, to keeping all three generations together. I agree completely. Families have moved further and further away from each other. Yes. Parents/caregivers get home from working 2 jobs with no time to sleep and get back to work. Yes. My mother had to leave and go to South Carolina because she couldn't retire in New York State. Yeah. My 4 children are choosing not to have any because they have no money or time for themselves or pets. Oh, Pat, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. But you know what? You're the first person to tell me that. I've heard that many times. Yes. This is the reality we have created, a dystopian nightmares cartoon we call Life with Freedom. Thank you for letting me rant. No. You bring up another great point here, right? This part I really want to touch here, Patty. You find so many people who get mad at my policies and you go, but then what happens? And the world ends and bad stuff happens. And I go, this dystopian future you speak of is not the future. It's today. Today is the dystopian future. It's not the future. Right? But you libertarians, what have we run? You can talk all the trash about libertarians you want. What have we run? What is our responsibility on this? Let me give you the answer. None. This horrible dystopian present that we have was brought to you by Democrats and Republicans, not libertarians. Please show me one city, town, state, country that's run by libertarians. The answer would be none. None. Doesn't exist. None. They always tease me. Larry, there's no success. Yes, because authoritarians keep crushing it. as happened to me this year in New York State. Authoritarians keep crushing it. And you, as the people watching the authoritarians, keep allowing it and then wonder why the world's ending, because you're allowing it to end. I have provided New York State with answers to support families and businesses and individual people getting together for 5 years on my website. Not one person has taken them. They're for you. If you're a congressperson or a mayor or a governor, you can just call me, reach out to my page. I'm happy to be on your team to help you out in any way, shape, or form. And never, not once. All these policies that are hurting us all, they're not my policies. Mine don't do that. These are Democratic and Republican policies, not libertarian policies. So this dystopian future is today. Thank you, Patty, for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me rant. So we let each other rant. I appreciate that. There we go. Daniel says, Hasan wouldn't last one day in a core. This is also true. Never heard him before. Total DB. Well, that might be true, but yes. Justin says, do you think that loneliness and self-esteem are the issues? Justin, yes. I say all the time, there are three things that are killing our children: lack of purpose, lack of community, and loneliness. These three things are killing our kids. That's the truth, right? We have to give them more purpose, more community, and with those two, they won't be lonely, right? They won't be lonely. So this, you're exactly correct. The self-esteem movement actually came from something very positive, right? The people were trying to help, right? It's the old, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The concept is true, right? So they were trying to help kids to have better self-esteem, which is a good thing, Justin. I'm not against good self-esteem. We should have better self-esteem. Of course we should. But the problem is they thought that means I have to tell them, well done. I can't hurt their feelings because that destroys self-esteem. That's just not true. The reality is people gain self-esteem by doing something and then being recognized. That's how you gain self-esteem. Or by failing and then winning. Also, how you gain self-esteem. That's how you gain. What we did was we took all that away. We said competition is bad. It is not. We said grading people is bad. It's not. We said letting people fail is bad. It's not. And it's ruined everything. I'm serious when I say that. It's ruined everything. We have kids who don't understand what it's like to fail. We have people who don't know what it's like to have a fight and come back from the fight. They can't talk to each other. I am a crazy parent. I was telling someone this actually the other day at one of my events I was at. I said, when my wife and I fight, we don't have the kids leave the room. I have two daughters. One is off Wayne College now. And when my wife and I fight, we fight openly in front of them. We don't change stuff because we're arguing. I want my daughters to see people fight and argue because we do. We're two different human beings, my wife and I. We're not the same person. We're going to disagree. So we disagree. We openly say it. And there have been times when we have been very aggressive and open. As you can tell, I'm very transparent. My wife is too. And sometimes our arguments can be very heated, to include vulgarity. That absolutely happens. And my daughters have watched it. Do they feel awkward? Yes, they do. This is, who said this earlier? The idea of people seeing, emotion and feeling awkward or weird. Yeah. And my daughters felt awkward or weird. But it also ended with us having an answer at the end, still loving each other and still staying together. We've been together 22 years now. December, I think it's 22 years. But together 22 years. So even through all the pain we've been through and all the stuff we've been through. But my daughters know that if they have a relationship, I hope they will have good relationships. I hope they will. They're going to be arguments and fights and back and forth, disagreements and whatever. And you can still be with someone even though you disagree or fight or whatever the case may be. Most of our youth don't understand that. One fight, burn the bridges. Go on blast on social media, burn all the bridges. Make sure I can never be their friend ever again. That's the common thing. It's a problem. Making more people lonely, making more people feel bad about themselves. Yeah, it is a problem. Sorry, I went a bit long on that, Justin, but thank you. You were right. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can keep going down here if I can. Logic Rex says, hey, everybody, man, 12-hour shifts suck. I would agree. Yes, I would agree. So Julie says, he's a brat. That's the best way to describe him. Ooh, a brat. I like that. That is good. Yeah, absolutely. Steve says, have you followed fellow libertarian Cash Jackson and his prolonged detention in Illinois County Jail? I have. Cash is actually my friend. He's actually been on my show more than once. He has put himself in a very bad spot. I feel terrible for him. I don't know how to help. To be forward, I don't know how it helped. He has already had negative interactions in the past. They will hold it against him. They are holding it against him. And he's in a terrible spot. He has been treated completely unfairly, totally wrong. The judges have been terrible. I know that feeling. The system has been terrible to him also. And he got emotional, did something he shouldn't have done. Yeah. It's bad, Steve. But yes, I wish I could get him out somehow. I don't have the power to do so. If I was the governor of Illinois, I would absolutely pardon him tomorrow. I'd done it last year. Or was it months ago? It was a while ago. But yes. All right. Shelley says, sociopaths don't have the ability to empathize or feel almost anything. They copy the actions of others to hide that fact. Oh, I like that. Yes. I like that. Very good. Yeah, that is good. Julia likes that what you said, by the way. My party gives me candy. That is good. I like that. And the man Pete steps in. The man, the MVP. Pete steps in. National debt. 31 trillion. We crossed the Rubicon. 123 billion. 887 million. $781,401.34. And that is our national debt. Through all of this, we still have a $31 trillion national debt. Yeah, absolutely. Patty says, the white weirdo kid used to join D&D clubs. Yes. Chess club, went bowling. Or he made the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Yep. These are no longer exist or are mainstream. Ooh. Taken over by popular kids. Where can they go? What can they do? Where can they go? Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. You're right. These things that when I was a youngster, you're right. Playing D&D, I was one of those kids. I played chess too. So yeah, so I knew a lot of white weirdo kids. I did. But yeah, you're right. That kind of was where we went. We had our own things to go to, but those are much more mainstream. Good point. Now the popular kids are there. So the WWK, I like that. You're right. It's tougher. So where do they go? They go online, Patty, and they go down terrible rabbit holes, trying to find reasons for, their pain, which when some guy like Andrew Tate says, it's because the women suck or whatever he says, or because the black guys suck or whatever some other guy says, they go, yeah, that's the reason why I'm lonely, because these other people are bad. And they go down terrible rabbit holes. I think you're right. That's what happens constantly. Yes. So Dave says, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was written in 2007. I was wondering if there's a parallel or Venn diagram between wimps and incels. Ooh, interesting. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Patty says, I believe I heard you say you watch what your kids watch. Think of the evolution of TV, family show, no parental wise role models at all. Kids are smartasses and parents are idiots. Oh, wow, Patty. Patty, you are brilliant. You're right. All the parents now are all idiots, right? And the kids are all the wise asses. You're right. The parents are all dumb. Huh. No real role models at all. It's true. I do watch that. I do, right? I do watch and I think about even in the YouTube world now, many of the popular YouTubers are youngsters and their kids and their parents are like rubes, making tons of money or making mistakes and stuff. I mean, they make tons of money on their parents making mistakes or doing dumb things. That's a good point. I think there's one exception that I remember. He's very popular. One of the most popular ones is the YouTuber Mr. Beast. My youngest daughter watches Mr. Beast. And he's good to his mom. Like he treats his mom. What doesn't make her feel bad? But a lot of these guys make their parents like idiots. There's a British guy named Morgs. That guy, he makes his parents like morons. It's a good point. I think you're right. And yes, I watch what my kids watch. And when I say that, I don't mean that I stop them. As I said, I'm a very crazy parent in this regard. I'm very libertarian. My kids have had no guidelines on internet, no guidelines on Netflix, no curfew ever. I've never given my kids curfew. I've never given in my daughters anything. They can do whatever they want as long as I have access to their stuff, which is all that mattered. And that's all. So yes, I watch what they watch. They know I watch. I play the same video games they play, even if I hate them. I don't care. I play Roblox, Minecraft. My kids played that stuff. Absolutely. I watch same shows. I used to watch PewDiePie with my oldest son when she used to watch PewDiePie. I watch Mr. Beast with my youngest one. I watch all of them. I am involved in my kids' life. Absolutely, I am. But I give them, my daughters don't stay out late. They're not boy crazy. None of that stuff. And I give them, it's hard to rebel against your dad when your dad gives you almost no rules. Tough. So I have rebellious daughters, but they rebel against the outside. They don't rebel against home because home is safe. Home has almost no rules. Home just has love and connection. That's all I do. So yes, thank you for that. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can get down here. All righty. Let me grab a couple more. You guys have been so good. Thank you for all the stuff you talk about. So Josh says, brings up the movie American History X. One boy trying to make his new father figure proud. Oh, yes. That's exactly right. Thank you for that. Yes, another trying to make his big brother proud. That figure in a young man's life is immense. 100% right. Look, I know people get mad at young kids, young men for doing stupid stuff. I know you do. I do too. I did too, right? I did dumb stuff too, of course. But young men, particularly 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, we're trying to figure out how to be a man in a world that has very few positive male role models. That's a whole lot harder than you might think it is. It's hard. I'm not excusing what's happening. I'm explaining so we can fix it. Because Josh, you are right. If the guy, for those who don't know the movie American History X, it's basically about a neo-Nazi kind of cult almost like, and how it affects the household and brothers within it and all kind of things like that. The mom and the dad who's not there anymore. So yeah, it's a very interesting movie. Edward Norton's in it. Is that right? I think that's right. A couple other guys, popular actors are in it. So yeah, it's a good movie. So any case, yeah. If the person who is your positive role model is a Nazi, you will probably try to be a Nazi. Doesn't mean you're necessarily a bad person, but you will become one because the person you look up to is a bad person. So yeah, young men are clay and they will be what is around them. So yes, I think you're totally right. It's a very good connection. Absolutely. 100%. Phil goes, 29K for kids, 500K for inmates, and 100 billion for non-allied country priorities. Phil, on the money, my friend. On the money. Yes, absolutely. On the money. I love that. All right. Let's see if I can grab a couple more of these. Rogan wasn't an MMA fighter. He does have a black belt in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu and did points karate. Sorry, thank you. As a young man, if I remember correctly, Joe Rogan also did jiu-jitsu tournaments. There we go. I knew he was a fighter. Thank you. It wasn't MMA. Thank you for the correction. But I knew he was a fighter. That's what it was. Yes. Thank you. All righty. Let's see if I can grab this here. All right. Wow, you guys give me so many. I love this. Tiff says, we keep wording red or blue and expect a different result. Einstein has a definition for that. Yes, absolutely. Elaine says, I agree about letting people fail at things, but I don't agree about grades. I think delayed Sudbury style. I'm not sure what that is, Elaine, to be forward with you. Self-motivated schools are father. Yes. Yeah, no, maybe I misunderstood, or maybe I misspoke. I wasn't against grades. I might have misspoke if I said that. I was against grades being the only thing. I probably should have been clearer in that, Elaine. I don't, you should grade people, right? I'm not against grades, but grades, if grades are the only thing, that isn't someone telling you well done. That is a system that's validating you. I'm not okay with that being the only answer. Systems can and should validate, and grades are fine. I apologize. I was not clear in my conversation. If I said I was against grades, and I may have said that in my, everything I say is live and off the cuff, so it's possible I screwed up what I said. I did not mean that grades were bad. I meant only grades are bad. We also want to have individuals saying, well done, going out, moving things, failing, all those things and getting back up. So I guess I should have been clearer. So yes, thank you for that, Elaine. If you thought that, others probably thought the same thing. So my communication was not clear. So yes. Phil says, I think you can't put a price on friendship. Well, you can, but there's a word they use for it. It's not a nice one. The rest is a political discussion that is way larger than the space we have here. Agreed, right? And that friendship, right? You need it, right? You need it to feel like you're worthy, right? The connections that we make, if we make no connections, we begin to feel like we're not worthy of connections. If we don't make them, right? Clearly, if no one wants to connect with me, I'm not worthy of it. I'm a bad person. And that just becomes a terrible, terrible hole, mental hole that will fall down. Josh, some of my worst career failures led me back to what's most important in my life. Yes, my family. Sometimes failure makes you reflect on your values and goals. I mean, in case you guys haven't known, my political career has been filled with failures. Many of them this year, in fact. I'm with you, Josh. And for some reason, I keep coming back to you guys. So I don't know. Something's going right. I appreciate that. Yes. Shelly says, my cousin and I disagree on everything political, but we still spend as much time together as we can, which is difficult because he's in California and I pretty much can't leave. Well, Shelly, I'm glad you show up to my events. That matters tremendously. Every time you come, I really appreciate it. Yes. Thank you. So the scientific libertarian says, I play a lot of Roblox with the kids. Yeah. What's wrong with that? I love the idea, right? We should be part of their world and know what they're doing. Know their friends. Not a bad thing, right? So I do too. I'm with you. 100%. Yes. All right. See if I can get down here if I could. Scott says my role models are Larry Sharpe and a guy on Twitter, Larry Sharpe. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes. Patty says, we think of parenting alike. I really parented exactly like that. And yes, all four always knew I'm safe, even if we disagree, and are adults I'm proud of. Yeah. I mean, that's important. 100%, right? I remember my friend said this many years ago. He said, I asked him about his dad. His dad and his mom had split when he was young, and he had a decent relationship with his dad. His dad and his mom did not get along at all. They were like at each other's throats. Very bad relationship. And I said, how do you get along with your dad? What's going on? He said, Larry, it doesn't matter. He goes, there's one thing I know. He said, I know my dad loves me. And I was like, wow, it's a powerful statement to say, right? I know my dad loves me. And he meant it. There's no doubt in his mind. And then that's key, Patty. Obviously, I'm not the perfect parent. Not saying anything against you, but you're not perfect. You're human too, like I am. No one's a perfect parent. But if our kids know that, to your point, we're safe and that we love them, I mean, that's really the core, right? That's the core right there. If we got that down, any little mistake we make here or there, whatevs, right? I mean, if it's a little mistake, not a big one, obviously, but whatever, not the end of the world. I think that's the key. So yes, I'm very glad. Thank you for that. So there we go. Redvick says Ed Norton goes to San Quentin for curb stomping a black guy who tried to steal his truck. And if a shooting, the accomplice becomes friends with a black guy when the Nazis abandoned Norton. There we go. Thank you. That's the story of American History X. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, there we go. So look, guys, if you like what I'm saying, if you think it matters, you got to help me out. You got to like, you got to comment, you got to share. If you haven't already subscribed, you need to. Please do that. It does matter. Absolutely. Support the world's smallest political quiz. I cannot tell you how much it matters. Why? They sponsor the show. They make sure I keep going, right? That's what they do. So please help them out. It's free, theadvocates.org, or click that specific link and share that link in others, right? Take the test. If you take it, take it again. Take it again if you've taken it. And then share your results out there and say, hey, here's what I got. Can we have a conversation? It will help you have conversations. Please do that. If you want to support me crossing this state, trying to make change, LarrySharpe.com/donate. Whatever you can give matters. We're trying to get stamps going. We're trying to get into the lawsuit going. It is hard because, to your point, I've had a lot of failures this year. A lot of failures. I'm still trying to make things happen. I don't want to surrender. I don't want to give up. I hope that you will help me if you can by supporting the show or supporting me by going to LarrySharpe.com/donate or pick up some merch. LarrySharpe.com. If you live in New York, get a sign. Put it in front of your front yard. Great idea. Do that if you can. I would love that. Either way, it does help. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for giving me all the time you gave me. I will see you all very soon.